Okay, so videotape analogy, VHS, old school. Okay, we have been taught the whole of our lives by everybody else around us forever that we are a person inside this body and that we are made up of the body itself and the thoughts which we believe to happen inside this head here, inside the brain. Okay, never questioned that. That is what we are. So when thought says something like, I am hungry, it's talking about a person we believe to exist, right? When it says, I feel sad, we believe that it's talking about a person that actually exists and is feeling those sensations, that's feeling hunger or that is feeling sadness. And actually, what we've never ever questioned is that true? Because nowhere are we taught to question that. Everywhere in our society backs up this idea of every single body is navigating an external world individually, and they are in control of everything that happens to that body, which it doesn't really take that much inquiry to see that the idea of control from the perspective of a body navigating all of these massive external circumstances is total delusion, but we'll get to that another time. So basically, we've got this idea, which is what it is. It's an idea, and we believe it undoubtedly. And so when we begin to kind of watch these videos and we begin to attend these meetings, we start to question this a little bit. Okay, so there is a body. Okay, we're going to leave it at that for a minute. There is a body and there are thoughts, absolutely, in the form of words and in the form of images, right? So if you close your eyes and you begin to watch thought, what you're going to see is you're going to see words, or hear words, and you're going to see images, right? Pictures of supposed events. And they might move or they might be static, but they're images, like a movie, right? And that's thought. But what we don't realize is that we can watch them. We can close our eyes and we can watch them like you would a film, like you would a movie. And in order to be able to do that, to watch something, to pay attention to it, to observe it, you can't be it. Because when you are something, when you are the beautiful unicorn cup, you can't watch yourself, because the cup can't observe the cup, because it is the cup, right? It can't get outside of itself, because that's what it is. But what we can do is we can take an image of a cup in thought, or a story about a cup in thought, and we can watch it, which means that we are not those thoughts. We must be separate to them. Whoa, revelation. I am not thought. Okay. First, massive like awareness, because up until that point, we believe we're everything we think. No, we're watching what thought's saying. We're watching what thought's doing. So then what are we? Holy crap, like we're not what we thought we were. Surprise, surprise. So then what we do is we start to investigate a little bit. Well, what am I then? What is like me? What is this thing that we call me, right? So if I'm watching thoughts and I'm paying attention to them and I'm able to see what they're doing, I can't be them because I'm observing, right? I'm watching. So I'm not that. But also, like, I'm watching this body, I'm observing it, right? So am I that as well? Oh my God. Okay. So if I close my eyes and I can watch thought, like, where am I? Like, what am I? And this investigation is incredibly liberating, because what we begin to see is that we are the awareness, the consciousness, the energy, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter. We don't get stuck on labels, okay? They're just words for something that you cannot really describe. But you are the awareness, the consciousness that the thoughts are arising in, right? Whoa. Now there's loads of space where thought arises, and you are that space that thought arises in. Thoughts arise in you, right? Whoa. So when we step back, or we fall back into that awareness, and we begin to watch thoughts and we get this distance, we begin to see that thoughts are just programs that run automatically, that we've always bought into and believed as a truth, when in reality, they are never a truth. They are never a fact. They are only ever an opinion, a judgment, an idea at best, right? They don't actually know what's going on factually at all. They're just trying to comment about it. They're just trying to understand it. They're just trying to gain meaning about something that they can't. So ultimately, right, in this analogy, awareness, this vast, expansive space, right, that thought arises in, is this is this giant VHS player, right, full of empty space, really old school, with the big black VHS cassettes, right? And that is what you are. You are like just this player. It's empty, it has no content in it, right? There's nothing in it inherently, until a video is inserted. And that video is inserted, and in it plays a story. Now, here I call them thought chains, right? And the reason is because one thought follows the next thought, follows the next thought, follows the next thought. And what they do is they create a train, and that train is a story. So we have a tape of the story, and written on a little white label on the VHS cassette is called The Story of Being a Mum. We have another one called The Story of Being a Wife. We have another one called The Story of Our Job and how it's going right now, and how it's gone in the last 10 years, and how it might go in the next 10 years. And all of that is part of that cassette. And what happens is, when thought kind of gets stimulated to arise by events, by supposed external happenings, by stuff that maybe somebody else might say, or a room that it goes into, or a place that it arrives at, the videotape is inserted and the story begins to play, right? And what we do is we buy in and we hook into that video that's playing unquestionably, and we believe everything that it says, and the videotape plays over the top of what is happening right now. So what is happening right now is, sitting in a room that is empty, other than having furniture. There are no people, there is no other stimulation, there is nothing else that's happening, right? But what happens is, The videotape that's playing over the top is so loud about that story from like 10 years ago that it plays over the top of what's unfolding now, and it prevents awareness from being present in this moment because it's being hypnotized by that video that's playing, that you're watching. So what this is about is it's about learning about all those videotapes, all those stories, what they're about, what the root of them really is, why they're playing and where they're coming from and how they've been created, and ultimately just seeing that they're just beliefs, they're just stories, and they're images and words that are being brought in from imagination, a supposed past that is not present right now. So that image or that story about what my parents did 25 years ago is being brought into this moment. The tape is being put in and it's being played right now, and it's overrunning what's happening in this present moment. And instead of being aware and paying attention to what's happening in this present moment, you end up just listening to the tapes, one after the other, after the other, after the other. And we become, as awareness, completely hypnotized by the content of the VHS tapes. So what this investigation is all about is about looking at our library, our kind of bookshelf, video shelf of all of these VHS tapes, and seeing which ones it's playing, when and why, and the fact that it is entirely mechanical. Okay, there is no you playing these tapes. There is you as awareness listening to them and buying into them and believing what they're saying, but the playing of them is automatic. The playing of them is mechanical. The body walks to the fridge door opens, the tape about food plays. Oh, can't eat that, overweight, need to lose weight, need to eat particular foods because the other foods will change up my body. Like that videotape plays because the fridge door has been opened. And the magic is that when we see that these stories and these videotapes are mechanical, and it's the opening the fridge door that starts off the story, we don't have to buy into it and believe it anymore. And awareness, what you truly are, will not retain and keep anything that it doesn't believe in 100%. So when a videotape of a particular story has been seen through, it will get dropped by awareness because it no longer believes in what it's seeing and what it's hearing, and it just sees it doesn't need it. So the key is to sitting back, watching what it's saying, watching what it's playing, watching what it's doing, and questioning it. Is this relevant right now? Is this story necessary to be played right now? Is this true right now? Because if it's not, and it's something that's from 20 years ago, why are we still listening, playing, and buying into all of the emotion that is attached to a story that is ultimately dead and is only ever being rebought into by the playing of it over the top of the beauty of this moment and the birds and the hum of the laptop and the silence that is present in this moment. And we miss it because we're listening to the current VHS tape of thought that is playing over the top of it. So can you watch it? Can you observe it? Can you see that it's not relevant in this moment, and continually keep bringing the attention back to what is happening right now? And don't get me wrong, thought is going to say, this is not possible. Thought is going to say, but that's really boring because nothing is happening right now. Because it's addicted to those tapes. Its awareness is addicted to playing them because it believes it has to keep running this content in order to survive. It does not. You do not need these stories to be able to exist, because there is an existence where thought is not on the radar, and there's just the cockerel, and there's just the birds, and there's just the hum of the laptop. And life is seen finally to be unfolding naturally all by itself, with words just coming out without any prior thought, and that thought that has believed that it is necessary and vital to the operation of life is totally surplus to requirements. There is no need to review the past. It's gone. There is no need to project into the future about what may happen, because thought doesn't know. So if it's a total waste of time and surplus to requirements, why is it happening? Why? Because we're hypnotized into believing that it's important and it's necessary. And the minute there's an investigation into that, the minute there's a questioning to that, it's seen really rapidly that that is just not true at all. So those stories that are being played each day about being a victim, or the trauma that happened 20 years ago, or the fact that you supposedly are not good enough or can't do things, is the tape that's playing over the background of what's happening. And then if it's seen as a mechanical operation, as a conditioned response, as a programmed videotape, then there's a choice, right? There's a choice. Do I continue to be hoodwinked and hypnotized by this as awareness? Or actually, do I stop buying into this? Do I stop listening? So sit down, close your eyes, begin to observe thought, watch what it's saying, and see the videotapes, the themes, the stories that it's playing, and begin to question them and their validity and their relevance to life unfolding right now. Because the whole story of you is entirely imagined and made up. And when it falls away, all that is left is life. Until you get to the point that even the supposed external surroundings are seen to be nothing more than just imagination, just being projected. So there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing to get anxious about. There's nothing to have a lack of confidence about, because thought is the only thing that's creating all of that suffering. The only thing that is creating all of that suffering.